Alright, coming to you more than halfway through the day being over. So after yesterday's video, after what you saw yesterday, slept about 2 hours, went to Orleans, dealt Nolan Hold'em Sunday, you know, the rebuy add-on tournament. Came back here, got cleaned up, slept about another 2 hours, just woke up, gotta get to Planet Hollywood now, so I'll be good for this, although I could really use like a full day of sleep, but that's coming up because after this shift, one shift Monday, one shift Tuesday, one shift Wednesday, one shift Thursday, reasonable work, sleep amounts for the next 4 days. What happened? Oh, shout outs. The guy who said yo nomad as he walked past the table I was dealing, his friend was on that table. A half hour later, I was on his table. As soon as I got to that table, he said yo nomad again. Kevin, Phil, a lot of people whose names I didn't get. A lot of people walk by while I'm dealing at the start of a break, things like that. Shout outs to everyone. The only other guy, I didn't get his name, but the circumstances were unique. The guy who was eating pizza not that far from the arena. Sometimes I walk from the that hallway towards the arena and back while I'm on break. There was a guy eating a slice of pizza in that area near the moving walkway, and we chatted for a minute. So shout outs to everyone. And yeah, what else is going on? Not quite the huge field it normally is, I guess because it was Father's Day. I left, registration was still open for like a half hour more or so, and I think there were over 400 entries, although last year the number was over 800. So yeah, not crazy, but still a lot of people, a lot of rebuys, a lot of add-ons, solid price pool. Went out of my way to be courteous and helpful and try to save a guy from having his hands be killed in the future, and he got mad at me for doing all those things. Should have known better than to be nice to somebody. Maybe that story in full detail will make it into the newsletter or a free Patreon post. This video probably going to tell you some Orleans pay stub information, because I've had the information for a few days. Didn't want to go like back to back to back. Pay for this day, Caesar's paycheck information, Orleans paycheck information. I was spacing them out a little bit, but I have that information. I am going to get going, walk to PH early, but I didn't eat a ton. Didn't eat a ton at, man, I just woke up like a minute ago. My brain's not really going yet. Didn't eat a ton at Orleans, so I'm going to save. I'm gonna get there early enough to give myself the opportunity, if there's something good in the dining room at Planet Hollywood, to have a leisurely meal. If not, then I'm just gonna get there early and I guess watch Sports Center in the dining room. And I think that's gonna do it for now. Right before I head out though, you know what's funny? I think I mentioned this in a high stakes PLO game. I got tipped a chip that doesn't belong to PH, it belongs to Golden Gate. So I just need to hold on to it, and next time I'm downtown, I could cash it in. I forgot where it was. Like, I was looking, I didn't care that much, but I was looking like mildly one day through my things. Couldn't figure it out where it was. Just found it. All right, I don't think camera's gonna focus, but here it is. Just found it in the pocket of these pants. So, mystery solved where it is. Still, could very well be years before I'm downtown and able to cash it in. Now I'm gonna head out. All right, Flamingo Habitat, late on Father's Day. I'll just tell you now since I'm here. Paycheck information. So, the time, Orleans had me 2 hours fewer than I had. Something like that's gonna happen when you don't round. Have no problem with that. Because of that, the wage was almost exact. Tiny difference in like pennies because of that 2-minute difference. Never got weekly overtime, of course. I'm not there 5 days a week plus like I was last year. Haven't gotten daily overtime once, so no overtime. Just take that time on the clock, multiplied by $12, and that's the wage. The tips, I did deal cash once in this pay period. Nothing they could do. That can't be wrong. It's not in the paycheck. I earned the tips, cashed them out, took them home. Tournament pay. That's the big thing at Orleans. Last year, guarantees, $15 per no limit down, $20 per mixed game down, but it was always more. I had 4 paychecks last year, The smallest amount a paycheck was extra was about $160. And I always thought that money was coming largely from tournament tips and maybe possibly a small amount from beating guarantees, but largely tips. This year, now I did deal, you know, fewer days. I'm not there every day. Last year, I averaged like 6.5 days per week, averaging like 3 days per week there. This year, the extra in this past paycheck was only about $25. So the formula I used to allocate that, there wasn't much money to go around. So for like no limit hold'em, I got paid about 15. Man, that rat is really close. I got paid about, I think it was like $15.46 for no limit hold'em, and they're not guaranteeing anything, so you know the number can be whatever. But I put into my spreadsheet the 15 for no limit and the 20 for mixed games from last year. I didn't have a better estimate to put in than that. So it was, I think $15.46, whatever's on the screen is correct, and not much higher for the mixed games. I think it was like $20.50 for the mixed game downs. So I talked to someone about that, why he thought it was so much less than last year, this extra money. And he said he thought tournament tips were way down. Now I have no idea. I'm not like big into the tournament world. I have no clue. I will say there is a binder in Orleans I almost never look at. I don't even know if it has the tournament tip information. It's pretty futile for me to look at it and see if it's in there because I don't have things memorized from last year. Like, even if this binder had information, hey, this tournament I dealt 3 Sundays ago, what was left in tips at the end, I have nothing to compare it to from 2024. Occasionally I look in that binder, I'm wondering if we like hit a certain like round number, like $200,000, $250,000 in a prize pool or something, and I leave before registration is done. So the next day I come back and I look in that binder to see how many entries there were, how many, what was in the prize pool exactly. But yeah, I have no idea if the tip information is in that binder. And yeah, like I said, if it is, nothing to compare it to from 2024. So I might take a look in that binder, but it's not really gonna get me anywhere. So I don't know. I'll talk to Herbs and Rye. I don't know how well you could even know if there's been a change lately. I guess you would have to be like final tabling a lot of tournaments and really be paying attention to what other people are tipping. You would know yourself what you're tipping. You would really need to be paying attention to like other people talking about it or noticing other people not tipping. I don't know. I really don't know who to ask or what to do to find this out, but that was one person's theory, and that's where I always thought that extra money was coming from, largely tournament tips, if not only tournament tips. So if that extra money is a lot less, it stands to reason that it's possible that the tournament tipping is down. So yeah, all in all, if you're looking for one number, what have I been making this year so far at Orleans per hour compared to last year? It's lower. The sample is small. I'll see future paychecks. And also, even though it is a few dollars less, it's still a very good number. Still like way better than any other job I had. Still way better and easier than loading the trucks at UPS and things like that. UPS used to also love not giving me credit for the hours I work, so never had that problem at Orleans. And well, the 3 hours at orientation last year at Gold Coast. Besides that, no problem. UPS used to do more than that every single week, just erase hours that I actually worked so they didn't need to pay me. Anyway, gonna walk to PH and maybe give you some scenery, and on the way back give you an update what happened in Planet Hollywood tonight. This Sunday, still Father's Day. shift over. It's actually not nearly that light out, but the camera does things to the sky. So I think it's a little after 5. And should I cross? Alright, made it. Gotta make it this way also. What went on at PH? Actually, that was solid hours for not being nearly the last one to start my shift. I was only going to be there as long as we had 3 or more tables. 3 tables went pretty late, and then pretty quickly they all broke. I was dealing one when it broke, so that was going to be it for me. By the time I like clocked out and got my things together and like signed the sign out sheet and actually left, there were 0. Things broke down pretty quickly across the board, but tournament was going. Oh, first time ever. First time ever. See how dark it is? Well, you know, that's the west side, so it's gonna be darker over there. I got into the room and the 7 p.m. was still going. The 7 p.m. nightly tournament was still going. I had never seen that before. 66 entries. I think 46 was the high entry total for the 10 p.m. I had never seen the 7 p.m. still running. The final table was going on. 66 entries is a lot for a daily tournament. I mean, I think the Friday Aria tournament outside the series weeks, the $240 buy-in, that gets pretty good field. But for a Caesars property, that's a lot. So that was cool. That was going on. I didn't deal that, but I dealt the 10 p.m. Dealt, you know, mostly 1-3. Dealt the $2 ante double board. PLO bomb pot was going. That's an interesting game. You know, I don't play a ton of games, but I do deal a lot of games now. That's got to be the game where like action very quickly decreases as the number of players decreases. Like full, it could be an unbelievable game with a lot of all-ins. Man, it gets to like 5-handed and not much goes on anymore. Like I played in some great 3-handed no-limit games. Remember one in National Harbor, MGM National Harbor, that was unbelievable. Once in Council Bluffs, played 3-handed for like 4 hours or something. I haven't played a ton of PLO, but that also didn't seem necessary to be like full, to have some big pots the few times I played it. But yeah, you lose a few people in the double board game and not much goes on anymore. But cool that it's running almost every day. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Actually, a coworker of mine who works, coworker at PH and a coworker at Orleans, the schedule for Orleans next week is out. I didn't even bother to look because I didn't think it was going to be out this early this week. And I'm on the schedule 5 days again. I just cannot do 5 days, and I'm going to have to tell someone to like just delete me from a couple of the days. I can't do 3 double shifts in a row, 3 consecutive days of double shifts. So I'm going to have to tell someone, erase me from Monday and Tuesday, and next week I can do Friday, Sunday, and Thursday. I'm cool with that, which means Wednesday won't have a shift. Maybe I'll go into the World Series of Poker, which is partly in Bally's but mostly in Paris, and try to talk myself into the cash game stream again to keep the streak going. So you have that to look forward to. And yeah, I know some people are looking for some EDR footage and pictures. No footage, but I do have 1 picture. Plan on having another next week probably. There was a great hot meal in Orleans the other day. Preview. I won't spoil it though. So I think that's gonna do it. Hope you enjoyed the payslip information from Orleans. And yeah, I don't know, if you play a lot of tournament poker, let me know in the comments if you've noticed, I don't know how, but if somehow you've noticed tournament tipping decreasing lately, because that was really the only theory I got on why we didn't really make as much extra at Orleans so far this summer like we did last year. And remember, rice is a spoon food.